What in the world is this 1971 HOBO houseboat doing? Where is it? Where is it going to? Here in Canada is something that we call the Golden Triangle Cruise. It is based on the Ottawa River, Montreal to Ottawa via the Ottawa River, then down the historic Rideau Canal, through many canals, rivers, lakes, to Kingston, Ontario, and then back up through the Thousand Islands on the St. Lawrence Seaway. And in our case, we only went as far as Cornwall, but normally the trip would end up in Montreal again. Total distance was 330 statute miles, approximately 550 kilometers. Thank you to the Lord Reading Yacht Club on the island of Montreal. It is Lord Reading is how they pronounce it, not reading. And we thank you. They are on Lac Saint-Louis, which is an opening. It's a large part of the St. Lawrence River, St. Lawrence Seaway. Montreal itself is an island, and the city is on an island, so we were in a suburb of Montreal. As an aside, I'll let you know that there is an old canal called the Lachine Canal. It consists of a couple locks, and it provides great access to downtown Montreal. It cuts off part of the island, and it used to bypass part of the rapids that were there prior to the new Seaway locks. We did not make this part of our trip. Maybe next time when we do the Erie Canal, perhaps come up through Lake Champlain, the Chambly Canal, to the St. Lawrence, and visit Montreal again. But now, on to this trip. Well, we parked the truck and trailer for the night at the yacht club. Thanks again, Lord Reading. We hopped in the boat and off we went into Lac Saint-Louis, and we headed around, and you notice this channel here we got to approach the St. Anne de Bellevue lock. Here are some pictures of going through that rock cut and the approach to the St. Anne de Bellevue lock wall where we tied up. We're approaching the lock here, St. Anne de Bellevue, and we can tie up on the right or left. We're going to tie up on the right at the lock. We've been warned that the Carillon lock has been having difficulties on and off. I'd heard about that and thought it was fixed, but we're going to have to ask here whether the next lock beyond this, half a day up there, is functional or not. It could change our plans. After a long day of travel, about 11 hours by truck and trailer and a few hours getting the boat in the water, we're finally here for the night, tied up along the wall beside restaurants. We look forward to having a good meal at a restaurant and then to settle down for the night and tomorrow's adventure. Okay, Game 7 of the Stanley Cups. Edmonton just evened it up. Edmonton, Florida, each one all. On the houseboat, you have to do things. That's where antenna has to be tonight. Bright and early the next morning, June 25th, I hitched a ride with a Lord Reading Yacht Club member back to the club. I picked up the truck and trailer and headed southwest an hour to Cornwall. And I thank friends of my daughter, Rakesh and Savannah, for allowing us to keep the truck and trailer there for the duration of our trip. I managed to get a bus back to Montreal and got to the lock and found out what my wife had been doing all day.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, June 25th, and we are in Montreal at the St. Anne de Bellevue lock. The captain of the Erie Hobo has abandoned the boat right now for a few hours. He left with a friend to pick up the truck and trailer at the Lord Reading at the Lord Reading Yacht Club, and he's taking it to Cornwall, where then he'll pick up a megabus and come back to Montreal. So I got to get the ship into ship shape because it doesn't look good very well right now. I have to fix the beds and all that stuff. So, okay, signing off. But the captain will come back. Not officially abandoned for the whole day, just for a few hours. Okay, signing off. Bye-bye. The ship is not ship shape. This is how it is right now. So I have to get this ship back into ship shape before the captain comes back. There's the bed. It has to all be put back together. Curtains have to come down. And the benches have to be fixed. And then I have to make my tea or coffee. There's the propane waiting.
This tremendous effort by the first mates, truly appreciated. Usually the two of us go at it together, and there are parts of it where things are a little bulky, a little hard for one person. There she goes. She's got it. Everything's back together. Now, what else is there to do today? Well, if you're on a boat, you're interested in boats and interested in watching them. All shapes, all sizes, coming and going. Even if you didn't come by boat, there's a lot to explore and to enjoy at this park. It is a national park. Here's just a little more looking around in general. And there are boats regularly going through. They're going both up and down the river. Locks are not maintained by Parks Canada exclusively for large yacht owners. They'll accommodate kayaks, canoes, big or small, they take them all. Here's proof.
These are the same kayakers that were just in the lock. Bon voyage!
Clues, St. Anne de Bellevue lock. Number of American loopers just arrived. That wall wasn't filled at all last night. We're way back there, about the fourth one from the end. Here's everybody hanging out prior to the lock. If you've got the pass, it's 2 nights. It's included. We got the blue wall. We got the lock. Railway bridge, the A20 highway bridge. Over here is the dam. I thought there was a dam here, an adjustable dam, but evidently not. It's just, I don't know, maybe there's a shelf here or something, but it's rapids, and I imagine it's shallow. It runs fast here. See the standing waves in front there and there. So these are, that's the railway bridge, and traffic bridge, A20 highway. Okay, talk about a challenge. You got to be an expert boater to use that dock over there. You got the pontoons there, known for their handling ability evidently. Look at the current you've got, and the wind is coming directly this way, so guess the wind would change every day, but gotta admire those guys. Well, I headed back for supper, looking across at the restaurants. We chose a restaurant to go to. You can see our little boat there against the wall. Restaurants line that entire wall for 100 yards or so. There's our little boat peeking out again. We had the littlest boat pretty much on the entire walkway there, boulevard. Looking again up now, but big surprise, along came somebody else for dinner, and it was really quite an amazing docking feat to see these guys. I said, do we need to move back? And he said, no problem, and the captain just laterally slid that thing in. Trip in Florida, the pumping action on this toilet for the flushing action to rinse the bowl, it was weak. So this thing screws on there, see the threads, and this pumps up and down. I took it apart because it's not working at all right now. What I found was some pieces, and I thought, how do these pieces go together? Okay, so I found these pieces. How did they go together? What it is, this all used to be one piece. This piston is sort of soft rubber. Well, that was in there. That's broken. This is all one piece, and it's to retain this, so it was like this. So I have to somehow reattach this piston to that. So I'm going to see if I can cobble something together that'll last for this trip. Well, I have a little box of bits and pieces, and I've got another little bottle of random screws. So what I selected was this stainless steel wood screw. I've got this piece of plastic. It's got somebody's advertisement on it, but I thought it's good plastic, good for something. What I'm going to do is cut out a circle, material that will fit through there. And I'll put this on like this, and I will screw it in. So I'll use this as a template and cut something out. Really would do is contact the manufacturer, I guess, for a spare part for a new one of these black things, or maybe they sell you the whole thing. I don't know. So now this fits in there. That's great. So I don't know. It's going to have some flop. I don't know if that's good or bad. I have to take up that slack there. No, I think it was designed to have that slop in it. So, okay. I even have a block of wood in my toolbox. It's my propeller wedge. It's for wedging the propeller if I have to take it off. So, Robertson screwdriver. Well, the number 2 Robertson is the best screwdriver in the world, but I think I borrowed it out of this toolbox. That's number 1. That's too big. That's for stoves and such. There's a number 2. These multi screwdrivers are not always so wonderful, but okay, I'll start. Okay, good. And I'll start it into this. See the Robertson screw? You can hang it like that, it stays on. Can't do that with a Phillips. Well, we'll see how it works. Time to test it. So it's sitting up a little high, but it's working for now. We'll just be gentle with it. Well, that toilet flush mechanism works just fine. Here it is almost Labor Day, actually, and that thing is not a problem whatsoever. June 26th, day 3 of our travels. We're heading up the Ottawa River. This is our first significant travel day for this trip. The day dawned just perfectly. This is the first test of the GoPro. Here at St. Anne de Bellevue, the lock is ahead. It's around 8 o'clock. It opens at 9:30. And I'm not sure how many of these people want to get through the lock, but we will move forward to the blue line in a little bit. We've made our coffee and we'll see how the day unfolds. We'll be 45 minutes early, but we'll be at the on the blue line, so we'll get the first passage. Last night they said that if there's anybody up top, they will lock the people down from up top, and then we would follow. That being said, right now I think there's only like 1.5 foot different. It varies from practically nothing or a foot up to, he said, after rain or something, maybe 4 foot difference. So we were first to the blue line, so I went up and talked to the lock staff, let them know our intentions. In the meantime, we were joined at the blue line by motor vessel Unity, Brandy and Keith aboard that one, and Rock and Roll, owned by Pat and Teresa. Both of these couples are loopers. Here's the plan for the day. We start here from Montreal, from St. Anne de Bellevue Lock. We went through, it's just a 1.5 rise or so. You tie up to a floating dock. I don't have any footage of that. Then we proceed up the river. It was pretty brisk and windy. We had a headwind and a current against us. We got to the Carillon Lock. You're going to see that, quite windy. There's a significant dam there also and current. Then we made our way all the way up, battling our way against the mighty winds up to Hawkesbury, and there's a public dock there. So this is the original gator I have that snaps in place. Spray would come over that sometimes. So my new invention since our last trip in Florida was to make this little splash guard. It's not meant to catch waves. You see it's got a gap at the bottom, but it's meant to catch the spray, and I'm standing here and I'm not feeling spray in my face. It is successful. Now we still roll with the waves, but that's just how we are. Our trawler friends are just, the second one is just passing through the bridge now. They're going a little faster than us. We're at 5.75 miles an hour and they are tending to go 7, and the guy out front even maybe closer to 8 if you were talking miles per hour. This is the #1 Trans-Canada Highway Bridge. We're just 2 or 3 miles out of the lock right now. From there, from the west to the east. So that goes from sea to sea, from Pacific to Atlantic. Yeah, an assortment of barges and tugs. Yeah. Lots of scaffolding. The lower parts of the Ottawa River are quite wide and lake-like. In fact, the last open area is the Lake of Two Mountains, which I think we're just in these shots here. Okay, it's a little wavy. We're heading pretty much into the wind. We got the door closed. Our combing's doing a little bit of work, yeah. And these are just not very big waves, but enough to make a splash for us. That's the Quebec side. At this point, it's a little more hilly. We'll see how that is. Oh, we're hitting some bigger waves here. Every once in a while, we get a big splash. We're keeping track of the 2 trawlers up ahead. We bumped up our speed. There is gas in Hawkesbury. We can get to a gas station, so I don't care about burning the fuel. We're at 3,000 RPM, 6.4 miles per hour, which is basically a little more than 6 knots. Yep, splash, splash, splash. Thankfully, we stay dry inside. One thing we always do is keep track of our motor. It seems to be performing well so far this trip. Okay, we just yielded for that guy to tack across our path. Now he's turning around. I don't know if he wants to tack in front of us again. I don't know. This is the Oka ferry traveling from Oka. There's a sailboat marina club there. Crosses over to the Ontario side. Well, at Oka there were actually 2 ferries going and in opposite directions, so we sort of had to time it to get between them, and we watched for the other traffic. They usually go around us. They're fast, zipping around, and there were sailboats and so on. Okay, we're leaving Oka here. This is the Quebec side. Fairly nice homes. A little bit of narrows here. And we're following our companions up that way. Janet takes her regular turn at the wheel. It's nice that we can share duties, and she's a competent pilot. I was not at all sure what markers like this were. Yellow can mean a channel marker or whatever, so it wasn't until I looked it up at home. PEL means port entry light, and they are identifications for commercial traffic, basically where the center of the channel is, as I understand it. Okay, we are approaching the Carillon Lock. You can see the big guillotine. We could see that back right when we turn the corner, and there's a power dam also. It's calm and protected down here in this area. Unity and Rock and Roll are there already waiting for us. We're actually waiting for an electrical fault on the lock itself. You can see the floating dock here that we will tie up to. Also take time to appreciate just how tall this lock is. Rock and Roll goes in. Now we get ready to go.
They'll hold the canvas up, but they won't hold the solid panel. We all had that in the works, that I decided that I'd be 90, and then I got everything done. So we can go ahead.
The wind is calm now that we're at the bottom, deep into this protected lock, but as we rise, are warned, the winds can pick up and swirl, and be careful. And it is windy at top, we know, so we'll be careful. The doors are ready to close. The door closed, and here we are. The thing is over half filled. Okay, there's the sill at the top. We've already gone up, I don't know, 50 feet or so.
Look at the wall there, how fast.
Yeah, look how fast. I'm looking back at the door. See how fast we're rising.
Oh, wow.
Yep, so we got 3 trawlers and then us, and we just had our police inspection. And look at the guillotine door right there. This, of course, is just a regular shallow door. Yeah. And Pooch even has a very nice life jacket. We exited the lock first and then laid off to one side to let the faster boats go by us. Well, we're almost to Hawkesbury, and we're ready to knock it off for the day.
Hawkesbury Bridge and Hawkesbury Marina.
As we approach the bridge, it becomes evident that the current has increased to about 3 miles per hour here at the Narrows under the bridge.
We've turned to the Hawkesbury town dock, and it's free, they tell us.
Okay, note our crab angle into the current to try and pass through the gates, so to speak. The other 2 trawlers are tied up over there. Looks like there's room there for us too. Here we are, anchored, not anchored, tied up at the Hawkesbury dock, and there is a fee. It's 35 bucks for overnight, but you wouldn't want to anchor too many places. This is the current just in the side channel here beside this island. That's the main channel, and we cruised in, crabbed a few degrees to one side just to make our way in here, but you can see how it's tracking. One thing here, I was tying it up at the back, and I heard something. Janet, go ahead. I'm not hearing it now. Okay, but the prop, there's enough current here, the prop was spinning. So we put it in gear. It's just going tick, 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 ticking over. So, we're going to get something to eat now. Other loopers are over here. They're all tied up, and they're enjoying docktails at the moment. This is a map showing the direction that we came in under the bridge, hung a left, and got to the park and tied up. Across the river, just as a note, is the town of Grenville, and there are the remains of an old lock. So there used to be rapids here that were flooded, and the lock was on the other side. But the really tall lock at Carillon, or Carillon, obviated the need for that, and it was abandoned. and the water level here was raised. We went for a walk. We crossed the bridge off the island, and there is a gas station close by, so we used our dolly, topped up on gas, and we came back, made supper, and we just hung out, and people would walk by and talk to us, and it was really interesting. While we were here, we had some long conversations with some folks. Denny, local native, he was just sitting here parked, and we had good conversation with him for almost half an hour. We just got off a conversation with Sonia and Joe, and everybody's really friendly. A lot of people out walking their dogs and things. So here's the river. We came here under the bridge, and right there on this island on this side is where this dock is. So you can see that there is some flow around here, that we've got maybe a mile and a half an hour current. Out here we're getting something like 3 miles an hour current, because when we came up towards the bridge, our speed dropped right off. We had to up the throttle quite a bit just to get around it in a timely fashion. That's the end of day 3 and the end of this video. But there's more to come, more episodes, 21 days total for this trip. In the next hours of travel the following day, a major mechanical problem threatens the continuation of our trip. We have a few things to explore. We end up almost getting smashed like a frog in Frogger by ferries, F-E-R-R-I-E-S, that is. And then we head on to the nation's capital, and we're able to find a quiet anchorage within a mile of the Parliament buildings. Stay tuned. We'll get that published as soon as possible. Please like this if you liked it, and of course subscribe, and you'll see more of the content of Old Hobo and in the travels of the Erie Hobo and other content.